Hey, 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 hey. What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Juju, Reverend Juju. Thank you for being tuned in for another wonderful episode of Speak Pink. Listen, I'm so glad to be on with you all this afternoon. Hey, hey, hey. Listen, make sure you share this with someone. Make sure you pull out your pens and notepads, your iPads, whatever pads you do. Take some great notes. We're into part 2. Hey, 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 hey. What's up, everyone? Listen, I am so glad to be on with each and every one of you. Thank you for being tuned in for another wonderful episode of Speak Pink. This is your girl, Reverend Najuma, and I'm so excited. It is December 27th. Guess what? It's the last Sunday of December. You and I have made it. Yes, we have made it through 2020 with all of its ups and downs. And God knows, God knows this year has been full of so many unexpected turn of events. And this pandemic being one of the greatest things that we've ever experienced in our lifetime. And I know there's been other devastations that have impacted the universe, the globe, but nothing quite like this. Literally, the earth, the world shut down sometime mid-March, different times for different people. And we've been in this holding pattern ever since. And we've had some better seasons and not so great seasons. And right now we're in a not so great season with this pandemic because the numbers are up. The rate of new cases are up. The rate of deaths is consistent, which is not okay. We want the numbers to come way, way down to none, to zero. And in some parts of our world, they have. But as for Southern California, Los Angeles County in particular, right now we're still in the thick of it. And it doesn't look like things are going to change anytime right away. So we have to remain diligent. We remain focused. We remain steadfast in, living safe, keeping our friends and family safe. And as a pastor, I remain diligent with virtual worship and connecting with our community in different ways. And so today is part 2 of what we shared earlier about lessons learned. And we talked about several lessons learned. And today I want to continue that conversation, not only with lessons learned, but things that made me grow. Lessons learned was part 1. Part 2 is things that made me grow. So in lessons learned, I talked about some of the lessons that I learned, things I learned about myself and the world around me from 2020. But I want to talk about the things that made me grow. And what I mean by that is there were some particular events that leveled me up in different ways. For example, I'll start off with the first one. When the pandemic was kind of in the thick of it, and then we had the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and then George Floyd. Like so many other parts of this country, many protests and marches ignited. And one of the things that happened during that time was, unexpectedly, I was asked to participate with the mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti, in going on television or going through his network and really asking the city to, protest, but also, that we have to maintain within the protest to peacefully protest. Exercise your right to protest, but really peacefully protest. And the conversation for the peaceful protest was not for real protesters, but really to those that were detracting from the protest, creating mayhem in our city. And that was a pivotal moment for me because I did not know that would be live, number one, but I also didn't know it was breaking news, which meant it was airing on every network. That catapulted me into a number of conversations over 2020 around protests, around civic engagement, social justice, around race, equity conversations about Black women, Black men, Black youth. It also catapulted me into working more closely with Black Lives Matter and Clergy for Black Lives. And I say all that to say that experience, that moment in time, caused me to grow in my voice. It was really clear in that moment as I was invited to share as a pastor, just some reflections for those who are protesting, but also to encourage the detractors to please back up. And, I have a lot to say about protests, and I have a lot to say about how our voices, are important and how we have to continue to raise our voices. But that's for another podcast. I'm talking about what made me grow. And so, but I have a lot to say about our voices and the strength of protest. So I don't want to lose that in this. And I don't want anyone to think that is not huge and major, because I have a lot to say about that. And I do hope that people continue to exercise their right to protest. So I'll stop there and then get back to what I was originally saying, which is the things that made me grow. So that moment in time that catapulted me into a number of different conversations also affirmed in me that this was time for me to grow up in how I use my voice, grow up in how I express my voice, grow up in being unapologetic about how I use my voice and the things that I address. It really helped to shape a spontaneous growth for me, if that's possible, where I probably was more, not quiet, but just not as out front or out loud, to really becoming out front and out loud, not out loud in a disruptive way, but out loud in a affirming, this needs to be said, prophetic way. And God, if you're calling me in this hour, then I'm going to show up and I'm going to use my voice and I'm going to do it unafraid. And I'm still growing in this area. I will not say that I have matured, but I am saying that the thing that made me grow was that moment. And then the response from people, and I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't all good. Some people really thought that I should go somewhere and sit down and shut up, because they want to live their life their way, and that's fine. And, for some people, it was challenging for a Black woman to be standing with the mayor and offering thoughts and reflections to the city. And so while most of the feedback was high praise and really good, there were detractors, and that's okay. That also helps us to grow. But that moment solidified for me an area of growth, and that is in my voice and using my voice and not shrinking back from the opportunity to use my voice and express concern and love for my community. And so, with that being said, I want to encourage the listener, all of you, my audience, my peeps, with this thought, with this thing, with this understanding that our voices are extremely important and urgent at this hour. And it cannot wait for somebody else to come. It cannot wait for somebody else to speak up. It's got to happen now. And some of you, I want to say something, itching to say something, but, you hold back. And again, I'm not suggesting that you have to do what I did, but I want to encourage everyone that's listening, all of my audience, all my peeps, all my friends, all my classmates and children and grandchildren, use your voice. Stand up and express your voice. And what I learned is that when I stand up and use my voice, I'm not just speaking for me. I'm speaking for Black women. I'm speaking for mothers. I'm speaking for Black women who are mothers. I'm speaking for mothers of murdered sons. And what I mean by this, I'm not saying I'm the representative of all these entities, but I am saying that I have a voice to lend in these spaces, a voice for the church, the Black church in particular, a voice for individuals, women in particular who've experienced sexual assault and molestation. I mean, all these spaces that God continues to now give me, and not now giving, but give me now in a different kind of way, an opportunity to use my voice. And so that moment grew me up, and it's been something that I continue to work in and work towards, and really take advantage of every opportunity given to me to use my voice. And like many of you, this new thing called Clubhouse, a new app out, and I try to be very intentional on Clubhouse even, and get invited to upstage and don't shrink back, but use my voice. And I want to encourage all of you that are watching, use your voice. It is capital currency right now. It's not the only capital currency, but it is capital currency. It is valued, it is valuable, it's worth something. And all of us have to kind of figure out how to use our voice and in which ways we should be using our voice. So I just want to encourage someone this day, use your voice. Use your voice. And don't run from that. Don't shrink back from it. Don't deny it. Don't say it's for somebody else. Use your voice. And so when I think about 2020, that was the most profound change that I went through, experienced, was that one speaking moment that went basically viral, if you will, and opened up so many other doors and platforms. And now looking at, everything that's been put in front of me and saying, I got to do something with this. I got to do something with it. Looking at everything and saying, let me do something with this voice while I still have time, while I still can, while it's still in front of me and fresh. So while I'm looking at life and I'm looking at everything around me, I'm saying, yeah, sis, it's time to use your voice. So to anyone that's listening, and hey, to all my peoples, I really appreciate you. I want to encourage you to use your voice. Whether it's something small for your little sister or one of the little ones in the family, or one in your family, or, if it's a coworker or a colleague, use your voice. Encourage someone today with your voice. Speak to an issue with your voice. Stand up, rise up with your voice. Let yourself be heard and seen and known. Use your voice. All the ways possible, use your voice, because the world is waiting and the world needs you and you need the world. And it's the season to use your voice. So thank you again for being tuned in to another episode of Speak Big. And we're sharing today on the thing that made me the most, that really shaped me the most. And it was really that moment of time with the mayor that opened up so many other doors. And I found myself, speaking on these whole new platforms, and it continues to grow and manifest and grow again and elevate it, grow again, and new this, new that. And so I'm super excited, about all that's coming up. So yeah, use your voice.